Hey, this is Boyd from the Envy, and you're at Popularity.
How do you approach your music?
Well, the way that me and Sean, myself and Sean, were basically we're the main writers in the band, and so usually what happens is one of us will come up with sort of a riff idea, and there'll be a vocal melody that comes right after that, and then we pretty much tackle the lyrics together. It's a very it's a collaborative process where it's kind of give and take. So, I'll kind of work on it a little bit, Sean will work on it a little bit sometimes. And despite every song having a different story, they all kind of generally happen the same way. The lyrics always come last, and because it's the most important part. So we usually do riff, vocal melody, and then lyrics.
What do you feel is the most important thing that you learned from Gene Simmons?
From Gene, definitely. I think there's the marketing for sure. It's a big aspect, but I think that was what we were expecting. What we weren't expecting was insight on songwriting, because he's a very, very big music fan. U2, Beatles, Rolling Stones. He has a lot of insight on lyrics, as well as him taking us out on the Kiss tour. It gave us basically a view of how to put on a huge show. So I think those three things were pretty much the main things that we got from Gene, was the songwriting, the show, the big concert production, as well as the marketing side, the merchandising.
What would you say is the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself throughout the creation of the album?
Well, I think the band definitely, we found, I think, well, it's been a long time coming. This band has been kind of a project for about 5 years now. So I think definitely the trials and tribulations of trying to make it in the music industry, and just even experiencing life, getting into different relationships and stuff, I think we've kind of found that it's maybe the easiest to deal with things by writing about it, So I think that through writing the final songs on the record, it definitely ended that chapter in our lives where we were just really trying to make it. And I mean, we're still obviously trying to make it, but it's definitely the struggles of being in a band. So we've definitely learned a lot about ourselves.
What would you say were the key challenges that you faced during the creative process for the album?
Trying to pay rent. I think definitely it's very, very risky being in this business, and as far as just trying to make everything work and making ends meet, somehow every single month we just figured it out, and now luckily that stuff is starting to pick up. I think we can at least maybe see that alleviate that part of it, alleviate the stress of paying for rent.
Did any song surprise you by taking a different direction than you initially envisioned?
One of our songs, you mean?
Yeah, on the album.
Yeah, I think that definitely there's some album tracks that came out of really weird places. I mean, one was kind of, we were just having a couple of beers, and we would be jamming, and there's a song that came out of it called Cold, and it was just kind of this weird sort of Radiohead like progression, and and then it took me and Sean going to Costa Rica to finish it. But obviously that part's ironic, because we're in this tropical temperature and we write a song called Cold. But I think definitely there's the aspect of it where when you're on vacation, you're so relaxed, and the creativity just kind of comes out of that.
At this point, what do you value most about the band?
I think definitely that we all have each other's backs, and we all want the same thing. Despite being in a band and maybe getting into some arguments and stuff, we're all, at the end of the day, really just fighting for the same thing. So I think we all want the same thing, and it's a team effort, and we all know that.
When do you feel that you're in your most creative state?
I think that's different for everyone. I think for me, it's definitely when I'm on vacation, when I have some time to myself. And I think for the other guys, it might be, when we're at home, or excuse me, or maybe when we're on the road. But definitely, it's for me and Sean, going on vacation is a big part.
creating music is like organizing an accident. What do you think of that statement?
Organizing an accident, yeah. Being in the music industry is kind of like organizing an accident. There's definitely chaos and order, and we've experienced both sides of it. So basically, especially my lifestyle's a little bit more organized, and Sean's is a little bit more chaotic. So I think within that, sort of a yin-yang, because it's almost like one doesn't exist without the other. So you have to embrace the chaos and not try to fight it. If you embrace it, then you can actually kind of ride the waves and make something really awesome out of it.
Can you describe your attraction to music?
My attraction to music, I've seen pictures of myself listening to Michael Jackson records, I think when I was maybe 1 or 2 years old, and it's always been something that I just kind of can't get away from. So it's almost like you ask someone who's been doing something for years, how do you do that, or what do you think about it? And it's just so natural for them that you just, I don't know, it's just something that's part of your life, right? So I think definitely any genuine music has an X factor that people feel rather than think about. So that's definitely the attraction for me, is that X factor.
Mm-hmm.